Soundtracks have changed dramatically and have become an important part of the storytelling process. For a topic this broad, the general public might find it completely useless to talk about, but I very much believe that developers look to using music as a means to manipulate and enhance the gaming experience throughout playing the chosen game. We're going to forget about those pretentious mobile repetitive games that we sometimes see way too many unrealistic ads to count, but games, and in this I mean real games, all take the theme of music as a component to a polished game. Google defines music as a vocal or instrumental sound, or both, combined in such a way to produce beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion, and video games do just that. And if you disagree, then let me change your mind with that. Think for a second, when is the last time you looked at a game like Minecraft and realized just how timed each sound and music can be depending on what you are doing? Most of you will probably say never. Or for example, when is the last time you've actually acknowledged how the music used in a horror game is perfectly timed with a jump scare? Again, probably never. You see, simple soundtracks are easy to make, and some games even just go as far as to just find some random mainstream music to play on their games. However, music becomes a mechanic once the music is used in a meaningful way to work together with the full game as a way to produce the finished product. People don't often take into account the importance of music and can often just overlook just how its implementations have helped improve the gaming experience of one's time. People actually don't take into account the importance of anything in the game, from the choices made in the artistic styles to even the reloading animations in those games. There is a well-made video by Average Pixel on the art of reloading animations in games, so I suggest you watch that after finishing this video. Every single component of a game is required to actually create the full product. The correct artistic style is needed to express the theme of the game, the correct voice actors are needed to represent the characters of the game, and even the correct soundtracks are needed to manipulate the player into feeling the wanted emotion or feeling. Video game music can have a lasting impact on those that listen to it. Developers are currently ever truly able to take advantage of two of our senses, sight and sound. For this reason, catching the ears is just as important as catching the eyes. Many spend so much time blabbing about how aesthetic a game is without looking at how the music has aided in having such an amazing gaming experience. You may have not noticed, but with music, especially in games, there are many that need to be composed. Music made for the main menu, music made for the title screens, music for when a player is in a safe place, music for when a player is fighting, or even unexpected music used to shock a player. All these decisions have to be taken into account and articulated such that they are adaptive enough to create the game experience that would inevitably keep you so engaged with the game that you decide to play with the game for hours. If we look at mainstream music, we often see people making music on a theme based upon experience or as a way to express a message. We see music from people like Kanye, who demonstrates messages based upon relatability. Video game music is no different here, except the fact that the experience and messages expressed are shown in real time as the gamer continues to play throughout the game, whether that is a horror game or a story game. People often play games to join a world they can control. And so if a game can make them immersed, they're able to disconnect from reality as they're able to actually feel the game they are playing. Music is used to make the video game seem realistic, hence making it more immersive. By playing well-placed music at the exact time of experiencing a new emotion or experience, a player is more able to feel the exact emotion of the characters they are playing, whether that is fear of what is to come or sadness of what is already lost. If you don't have enough variation in music, it can get tedious to listen to and repetitive, which is why it is even more important that when music is implemented, it has a purpose or message. Get it wrong and you can ruin a player's experience. This is why I mentioned those tedious mobile games that don't match their ads never seem to do so well. We often see those toilet games that have the most terrible matching music, which only puts someone off from actually playing the game to begin with. Music taste is of course subjective, just like practically anything, but you cannot argue that a somber themed song with slow pacing does not give you the impression of being manipulated to feeling sad, or the fast pace of a music sound does not make you feel the idea of being in action. Without music, any scene shown in any game doesn't have the hard-hitting kick that it is meant to give, whether that is a sadness or mystery. Even the pacing of the music becomes important. This is what makes well-placed music a method of perfectly manipulating how the consumer feels or is made to feel. The right music can leave a lasting impression on the consumer. Often music is associated with certain memories, moments or feelings. Loving music because of nostalgia links to the memories that you might have had with that game. For example, every single time I hear the game sounds from games like Super Mario Bros, it really just brings back the memories that from when I used to just be an innocent child playing on my PSP. Either way, whether it is nostalgia that brings you back to the game or the pure aesthetics of the soundtrack from games such as Undertale, music can dictate how much time we end up spending on a certain game. Storytelling games, adventure games, or role-playing games, however you call them, are example movies, but ones where you get to control the main character. I do think just as it's important to work on how aesthetic a game is, it is also very important to work on the music of one's game. Looking at mainstream film, for example, all the Marvel movies do this amazingly well. I've always loved appreciating the difference in music, like the orchestra in the background, where music often matches the exact emotion that is meant to portray, such that it makes it more immersive. Games like Detroit Become Human do the same for me, with a variety of music and also the incremental thoughts placed in each chosen music. Animal Crossing might not be a massive story game, but the music implementation there is also amazing. They have a slightly different soundtrack per hour of the day, and well, listening to it probably reminds you of Tommy Innit if you're a fan of the Jim SMP, seeming as he overuses the Able Sister soundtracks way too many times to count, but I digress. In horror games, it is even more important that the music has the proper purpose of, well, scaring you. For a horror game to be good, it has to actually capture the attention of the player. This is the reason why soundtracks and sound effects that utilize slow piano, strings, or even vocal sounds can make the soundtrack seem eerie, which would overall make the player feel more immersed into the game. These soundtracks and overall use of music can help make the player feel terror, which is the immense fear before an event, and horror, which is the intense fear after the experience. For example, in games like Silent Hill, the player will witness many different environments, and the use of different music to suit those different environments and events helps entice the player to keep on playing or stay on their feet. Lastly, horror game music can aid in capturing the feeling of suspense and mystery, which can make the player to think more about their actions, such as in games like Alice Madness Returns. It's no wonder that people definitely love game sounds, which is why you will tend to see a lot of remixes online. It might not be the type of song that you would listen to on the mainstream or Spotify, but either way, game sounds prove to be very amazing in this context and can really improve your gaming experience, as I've mentioned way too many times. I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you just as much enjoyed watching it and listening to some good old soundtracks. Look to subscribing if you've reached this far, and tell me down in the comments, what are your favorite and most memorable game soundtracks? With that being said, I've been Zaid, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Peace!